Good evening, everyone. I have a couple of questions that I recently received via YouTube about Raspberry Pi and the accelerator boards you can use with Minimig. So today I want to show you this thing. If you are Amiga enthusiast, then you probably heard about PiStorm, which is this fantastic little board project that enables you to use Raspberry Pi 3 or 4 or whatever is supported at the moment. I'm not really sure which models, but I tested this with I think 3 and 4, and also Raspberry Pi. What is this one? I think it's called Zero2, RaspberyPi Zero2. I like this one because it kind of looks like a CPU. So when you put this together, it's nice and sleek. So we can look into that. I also wanted to show you this 68000 running at 35 megahertz. Apropos my previous video, I just mentioned this. So this is actually, to be honest with you, my favorite way of running Minimig, because it has this original DIP64 package. Reminds me of my old Amiga 500. But the beauty of it is that this is HC variant from Toshiba that can stably run at 35 megahertz. So in fact, I can show you the performance here with sysinfo. No matter how accurate or not accurate this programming is, you'll have some idea about it. It's funny how everyone has a disclaimer about sysinfo, but it is what it is. So yeah, 36.5 megahertz. I know this is running at about 35. Well, not about, but exactly 35. This is just sysinfo reporting it this way. So, and also, beautiful thing about Minimig, original Minimig, is actually chip speed. So if you play some of the old 3D games, banging the chip RAM, this is a beautiful thing. So there you go, works just fine. I have multiple cores compiled, tweaked for Minimig. So if you go to your SD card, I'll show you. There is a directory here called Minimig cores for 6 megabit variant, and here are a couple of different folders. The latest one is this one for 198, but you can easily use this one as well. 198 ITX ESP32. The only difference is the layout of RX and TX here, the position of RX and TX. So it's compatible with the core is compatible with this thing completely. If you don't use this particular 198 core, you can just use wires, jumper wires, and it's fine. And then you can wire this any way you like. And in fact, majority of these ESP32s, they have totally different pinouts. So anyhow, back on the topic. So if you look at the cores, you can choose any clock you like. I'm usually using this one. Very often it will work at 38 megahertz as well, but 35 is just sufficient. So you can use this one with your Toshiba SE variant. This particular CPU is actually designed and rated at I believe 16 megahertz, but it doesn't make any difference because in this particular setup works perfectly. I've tested this configuration for hours and hours and seemed to be fine. So yeah, this thing on the other hand, what it is, it's well, it's a piece of hardware and a piece of software. First, there is this board that actually what it does, it translates the signals between Raspberry Pi and your Amiga. This will work on Amiga or Minimig. as well, and it will enable this Raspberry Pi or any Raspberry Pi to behave as a CPU, emulated CPU, and therefore there is a software running on the Pi itself that does this job. There's, I believe, at least I know 2 different emulators you can use. One is focusing on accuracy, the other one is focusing on speed. So we can look into that as well. Here, I believe I'm using this, I think it's called MU68, which is the fastest emulation of 68,000 CPU, 68K. What is cool about it is that the performance is just mind-blowing for vintage computers, Amiga. I'm saying this from the top of my head, but I think it's somewhere between Pentium 3 and Pentium 4 performance. It's quite impressive. But don't quote me that, I might be wrong. I don't know, I didn't really look into performance as well. I read this somewhere, it might be totally wrong. It might be Pentium 2 or whatever. I'm not sure. But it's quite fast. You can watch TrueColor MPEG videos on your workbench, or play Quake or Doom or whatever, Duke Nukem 3D in high resolution, which we'll play with that shortly. So it's quite something. So for many people who are asking, can Minimig run Vampire? In terms of electronically, yes, it can. In terms of FPGA Verilog code and the state of the FPGA, right now it cannot. Few tweaks are required to make this possible, but even so, if you need a performance and true color graphics and just bonkers Amiga setup, this is the way to go for now. So we can look into that. All right, now here we have PiStorm running. This is the Pi Zero2, and as you can see, Amiga is up and running the same way as if it was running with a 60,000 CPU. Now, there's a few different ways you can run PiStorm. The way I'm doing it, I'm just using this little Raspberry Pi as a CPU emulator, but depending on the software that you're using with this setup, you can also use HDMI output from this board or from the bigger version of Raspberry Pi, and have RTG, retargetable graphics, coming from it, so you can have full true color display with a high resolution output and so forth. But for me personally, this is my favorite way of using this thing with the classic Amigas and the Minimig, because it does look still like, you know, Amiga I remember. So let's take a look. First, obviously, quite a lot of RAM here. I think depending on the Raspberry Pi version, this may vary, and depending also on the software you're using for PiStorm. But this is plenty of RAM, as you can see, and it's now the entire setup can support 32-bit games. So now, cool thing is we can do this full screen, and until this day I'm just shocked how smooth this is. This is just pure joy to play a game like this. And I just cannot believe this is going this like butter smooth. Wonder what the frame rate is, but looks like, I don't know, 60 frames per second or something like that. This is just phenomenal. So this is as an exercise in nostalgia. This is the way to do it. You know, having the Minimig in ATX and playing this original Amiga game in just bonkers frame rate. I mean, who would say that FPGA CPU emulation on the Raspberry Pi and all sorts of other bits and pieces will make this happen, make this possible. So yeah, that's that. Maybe we can try we can exit and try maybe Doom, see how Doom goes. Maybe Amiga Doom, which is not best performing variant, but let's see how it goes. Alright, let's try what is offered here. And there you go. We have Doom. Let's load in the level. So now, because we're running on this is ECS, the graphics, it's limited to ECS. Number of colors and resolution, but performance is still there. You can see it's just phenomenal. Silky smooth. Amazing. It's very difficult to play anything and record at the same time, but you have the idea. I wish my Amiga was like this 3 years ago. All right. So that's that. Let me see if I can exit. Okay, there you go. One thing to mention when it comes to PiStorm and the Minimig setup, you can run PiStorm in normal and turbo mode. What I mean, if you press F12 key here in the settings and chipset, you have CPU that can run in normal and in turbo mode. You should experiment with different frequencies for the turbo. Right now I think we're still at 35 MHz, but I think you can push PiStorm all the way to 60 MHz, and from what I'm seeing in terms of performance, what will improve in turbo mode is actually the chip speed. And if you remember, I don't know if you had a chance to play with PiStorm on the real Amiga 500 and 600, but for a long time the problem was chip speed, and I don't know if it still is or that's resolved. But with Minimig you definitely don't have that sort of issue. So as you can see here, chip speed is increased, and you can go even further if you push the clock of this turbo mode to 60 MHz. You'll get even better. So that's also a nice little thing about Minimig in particular. And yeah, that's this setup in particular. So next I will connect my Minimig that has a case as well, and it's running, I believe, Raspberry Pi 4 if I'm not mistaken, with the RTG output with HDMI and this Caffeine OS, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Caffeine or Caffeine, I'm not sure. This looks like this very similar or the same thing that Vampire is running. Yeah, that's a different level of an experience where you can really go high-end in terms of resolution and so forth. So let's look at that. Let's see how that works. Now moving forward with the version of Minimig that actually has a case. This is 1.97 with the PiStorm inside and Raspberry Pi. I think it's Raspberry Pi 4, and this setup is running EMU68. However, aside from using PiStorm for the CPU. We are also using Raspberry Pi for HDMI out for retargetable graphics, and also a hard drive will be executed from the PiStorm as well. So, or Raspberry Pi, whatever you want to, however you want to put it. Everything else is the same. ECS, OCS is coming from the VGA, and RTG is coming from the HDMI. So now if I press power button, it will only take a few seconds for the thing to kickstart. You can hear that old school Amiga startup sound, and look, it's done. It only takes a couple of seconds. It's incredible. So where to start, I guess. Let me see what we have here. Maybe some performance testing. 3D, blah blah blah, games, emulators. Oh yeah, this thing has also emulators. So the operating system itself is very similar to what Vampire has, and I think whoever made this Caffeine or whatever the name is, they pretty much probably use the same libraries and same software. So let's see what we have here. Tools. There's maybe system. Let's see what system has. Utilities. Looks pretty cool. Let's maybe see video. There we go. Or maybe GUI. Let's play. It's coming from the speaker. I would say MPEG video in the true color on the Amiga computer. So what else I can show you? Okay, let's see some. Oh, I guess expert. There should be the performance testing. Let's see what we have here. Benchmarks, maybe. Yes, benchmarks. Oh, there you go, sysinfo. Let's see how that works. Now we need to switch to Amiga monitor, of course. And you can see 040 with the FPU. And if we do the speed, I think it will be about 3 or 4 times the speed of Vampire, probably. Yep, 835 MIPS. Now, this is interesting. You see the chip speed is still pretty low, but if I, let's see if I can put, hold on, let me just connect the keyboard. Hopefully I'll be able to put the Pi in the turbo mode. Speed. Aha, we're catching up, 1.61. So this was traditionally a problem with the Amiga 500. I don't know if this is still the case, but obviously PiStorm can, Minimig can fix that with the PiStorm. When it comes to RAM, you can see the partitioning here. This is some Minimig Z2 RAM and then 16 megabyte partitions. Just exit. Let's see the speed of the hard drives. Let's see how that goes. Wow, quite fast.
For Amiga, this is just phenomenal. Alright, that's a benchmark. What else I can show you? And of course I can increase the resolution here. This is not a good resolution for this widescreen monitor, but for now I'll just keep it like this. Maybe we can take a look at some games, and in particular RPG games, and maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of games here. Let's check Duke Nukem 3D. And there we go. Oh, it's a mouse.
Let's rock.
I don't really want to play, I just want to show you the frame rate, which is bonkers. I mean, this is just amazing. I don't have a joystick attached, unfortunately, and I don't know if I can use keyboard, but yeah, you can see, just phenomenal. Maybe this is the proper way to play Duke. All right, let's what else we can do. Let's check Quake 2, I guess. This is smooth as a butter. Just amazing. Again, I wish Amiga was this capable when I had my own Amiga 500. But yeah, there we go. 30 years after, 40 years after, we can play Quake on your Amiga, no problem. And so forth. There is so much to test here, so maybe you can leave a comment if you want me to test something in particular, maybe emulators or some sort of software, whatever is included here. I don't mind filming, but hopefully this will give you some idea about capabilities of this little computer. Also, next one is going to be Terrible Fire. I'll probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow I'll show you how to play with the Terrible Fire card. I have one with FPU and one without, two different models. I think this one has 4 megs of RAM, the other one is 64, but this one has FPU. So we'll test both of these cards and see how it goes. This is actually for Minimig. I spend the most time in development making sure the Terrible Fire card will work, because as you know, Gary and the CPU bridge are not 100% accurate, so I was tweaking very little code to achieve some sort of sync between all these lines and make sure that the thing will work. And with a little bit of help from the great team, I was able to achieve that, and you can read about it on the minimig.ca. So yeah, Terrible Fire cards are working. It's important for me. It was important for me because I like to support open source projects. Minimig is open source, and so as PiStorm and TF cards. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if there is anything else you'd like to see. Have a good one.